Hey, what's up? It is Friday, and we're going to do two CERs today, and not really two. We're going to, hopefully you finished the one from yesterday, and if you did not, literally that's the first thing. So write everything down that you need to get written down, and we're moving on. Okay, so there was this CER from yesterday, and you should have gotten this turned in. If you did not, please make sure to get it turned in. I will say this, make sure that you write, and so it says right here in the instructions. Then write a 5 to 8 sentence paragraph stating your claim and the evidence that you have to support your claim. So remember, that is what you guys need. So if you need to pause right here and be like, oh, snaps, I need to get that in, then do that. I have already messaged you, just so you guys know. I've already messaged you and let you know, like, hey, and I messaged you yesterday around like 4 or 5 o'clock. That way you would have time to still turn it in on time. Also, I do want to say this. I am going to be sending home a parent square, okay? So I'm going to be sending home a parent square to any student who has a D or an F, and I'm starting to pull these students into sting sessions. Thankfully, there's not like a whole lot of you guys, so that's good. And some of you guys have already been turning in work today, because I'm recording this during fourth period. So some of you guys have already been turning in work today, and your grades have been like going up just a little bit there. So again, I'm gonna send home parent squares to any student that I'm requesting to be in my sting session. The reason I'm requesting to be in my sting session is because you have a D or an F in my class, and that means missing assignments. It also means late assignments. So make sure that you guys are getting your guys' stuff in, okay? So make sure you got this assignment turned in. If not, you need to pause this video, work on this assignment, get it turned in ASAP. Also, I do want to say this. If there is confusion and you're like, I don't know what's going on, I don't understand, then I'm like, please come talk to me, like ASAP. You should have requested to be in the sting sessions from last week. So if you're like, oh, I still don't get the CER, and we're going to walk through it very thoroughly today, but if you still don't get it, then be in my sting session next week. That way we can go over. I can slow down. I can answer all the questions that you have and make sure that everything is connecting for you, okay? There was one student who really had a question about one piece of the evidence, and they shot me an email explaining everything. And so I went through what they had. I recorded them a short video, and I sent it back to them. So if I have time for that, I totally will do that to help you out. But you guys, especially since they took the time to reach out to me, so I took the time to reach back and make sure that they got everything that they needed. All right, cool. So I'm going to move forward. And again, if you haven't got that done, take time to get it done right now. Okay, so we're going to talk about this right here. So let me pause for a second. Okay, sorry for the double Mr. Farr in there, but we are going to do this. So just remember on a CER, okay, right here, right, the very beginning, this is where your question should be at, okay? So this is where you should be writing in your question. Just remember, the question should come from wherever the writing prompt is. Sometimes they're going to directly tell you, sometimes they won't. And I would always write your question in here at the top right here. And the reason I'd write it in right there, that way you have it on your paper for your claim. Then you're going to write in what your claim is, right? And again, we're going to go over this very specifically. Right now I'm just explaining generally how it is. And your claim should go right there, okay? So you write in your claim. And remember, your claim has to answer the question, answers the questions. Then you're going to write in your piece of evidence. So we're going to be like evidence 1, evidence 2, and then evidence 3, okay? And again, those should just be bullet points. And those can be listed in your evidence like this: 1, 2, 3. And if you look at these ones that I have on the board, just as an example, in my evidence box, I have 1 piece of evidence, 2 pieces of evidence, 3 pieces of evidence listed like that. We'll look at these pieces of evidence specifically in just a moment, okay? Cool. So again, you should just list out your evidence just like that. Now let's say you're like, hey, Mr. Farr, I really like this way over here. I like it this way right here, and that's what I want. So then what I would encourage you to do is then draw in your boxes. And you could leave them in there, right? You can have them all in there like that, okay? And then, okay? And then you could be like, boom, boom. Then, as opposed to doing it this way as a list, you could really say, all right, I'm going to put ed, so evidence 1, then I'll put evidence 2, and then I'll put evidence 3 in that one, okay? So then you can put your reasoning sentence R1, which is exactly what's right here, okay? Boom. So your reasoning sentence, right? And then your next reasoning sentence, that would just be R2. And then your next reasoning sentence, okay? And that would be R3. And these are starting to connect in the same way that you guys have. So in each one of those evidences should be inside of those reasoning sentences. Then what you would do is you would just come down here, right? And this is what you're doing here. I think I can I zoom in just a bit? Can I zoom? Here we go. We're going to zoom. Okay. So then down here, the first thing you should be writing in is your intro, okay? And inside your intro should be two things, okay? The question plus the claim, okay? Those are the two things that should be in there. Then what comes next after your intro is your reasoning sentence 1, then your reasoning sentence 2, then your reasoning sentence 3. This is how you're putting your whole paragraph together. So you have your claim, you have your question and claim, then you have your reasoning sentence 1, reasoning sentence 2, and you have your reasoning sentence 3. Then your last sentence will end up being a conclusion, okay? This is how you will get yourself to approximately conclusion. And here, let me before I start going off to something else, I'll say restate claim. So for the evidence presented, this is why I believe my claim to be true, okay? So then again, this is how you can get a paragraph, because this will be 1 to 2 sentences right here. This will be another sentence, another sentence, another sentence. So now you're at least at 4 to 5 sentences, and then your conclusion sentence. So that should put you at 5 to 6 sentences, and that should put together your paragraph, okay? So now let's go ahead and take a look here. I'm going to zoom back out so that way you can see everything, okay? That is the basic way on how this should go together. If you need all of this, then you can. If not, if you don't need these supports, you can just write your reasoning sentences right in there, right? You can just start writing your paragraph right away. You can start writing your paragraph again right away because you have your evidence, okay? Cool. So I'm going to go ahead and move this. I'm going to put this down for now. Now let's go to a real one. Okay, so let's just walk through this whole thing, okay? And actually, I think what we can do is we could probably do this one. And so I'm going to move. Can I move myself somewhere? Yeah, I'll put myself down here where the reasoning is. And then we're going to go ahead and make the clip here. You guys will see a little bit behind the scenes. I got to make the clip. Say new. And then I'll go ahead and make the clip blot out. Cool. So now we have our new clip. All right. So look, let's go ahead and read this. And let's zoom in because it's like, what? I can't read that. That's okay. Blot out. Here we are. So during volleyball practice, the coach recorded how high the girls were able to hit the volleyball into the air. When practice was over, the girls complained that their hands hurt. The coach asked them to rate their pain on a scale of 1 to 5 and then develop this graph. The graph shows the relative distance their volleyballs traveled versus how much pain they reported. Now, check this out. So here goes the height of the volleyball, and that's how high the ball was hit, okay? And we're gonna go ahead and write this in. It's exactly how yours should look. In what we would say is that M is for meters, okay? All right, cool. And then pain reported, this is just a pain level. So like Sarah reported, let's go with this. She reported 2 out of 5 pain level. Nicole reported, it looks like 3.5, so I'm going to go with 3.5 out of 5. Now Mandy looks like she reported 4.5 out of 5. So her pain level seems to be very high, like that she's reporting. And again, as you're looking, well, Sarah hit hers at 4 meters, Nicole hit hers at 8 meters, and Mandy hit hers at 10 meters. And it looks like the higher the ball is hit, then the more the pain is being, the higher level of pain is being reported, That's at least what I see here. So let's read the prompt, because inside of this scenario, it just tells us a coach was at practice and then kids were hitting the ball up in the air, the volleyball up in the air. Boom. And it seemed like the higher the ball was hit, then the more pain that they reported. And the coach took this data. Some people want to say, oh, well, it was hit very hard or more force. But the thing is, our data does not show any force. Now, we know there's a correlation between how high or how far a ball will travel and the amount of force that is applied to it. In this case, we're talking about a volleyball. So, serve like that, right? Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and see if we can find. Using Newton's third law of motion, write a scientific explanation that describes why Mandy's experience more pain than the girls. So hopefully you see that that's our question now. This is our question right here. Why did Mandy experience more pain than the other girls? Okay. So, oops. Yeah, that underlining was trash. I wonder if I can highlight. Bro, you serious right now? That's good. Okay. More pain than the other. Okay, that highlighting was trash. But hey, we tried. Okay. So that is our question. So in our claim, Mandy, and we don't have to write down the question because we have it right here. So if we didn't have it, we'd write it down. But in this case, they actually come out and explicitly ask. So Mandy experienced, because the claim has to answer the question, experienced more pain than the other girls. And why? Why do you guys think that is? Other girls. Because this is the part that starts to go into the claim. Because she did what? She hit the ball the highest. The highest, right? Which means what? Which means she applied, right? The most what? The most force. Most force to, right, the ball. And the ball applied the most reaction, right? Reaction force on to Mandy's hand. Now, this seems long, right? And it's long because we have to establish this idea that the higher the ball actually goes, then the more force it takes in order to get it up that high, which means the more force is reaction force is being applied to the hand. So there's kind of a lot there in order to try and make this claim all fit together. And so in writing this claim, we're like, bro, we're going to have to find a way to be more concise and succinct with what we're saying, or else our paragraph is going to end up being so long. All right, I'm going to pause right here. You guys won't notice it, but that way, because I gotta go teach. So I'll be back. The whole wrong number. Okay. So this is what we need to do. So I'm going to make this just a little bit bigger so that way you guys can kind of see both of these things at the same time. Okay. So we're now going to write in our evidence, right? So, but actually I think it needs to be a tad bit bigger. That way, oh, there it is. Right there. Okay, that's good. Okay. Let's click this, blot out, and then let's go here. Okay. So the first piece of evidence, right? And there's a couple different ways you can do this, but we're going to do this a little bit the long way, and then I'm going to show the shorter way, okay? So we're basically going to say like this. Sarah, who's the first person, hey, hit the ball in the air, right? In the air. How long? And then so we should go over here and look and be like, oh, Sarah, 4 meters. Okay. Hit the ball 4 meters in the air. Okay. And what else did she do? And reported a pain level of what? What pain level was hers? Pain level of, right, we would say, what would we say? Pain level of 2. Pain level of 2 out of 5. Does that make sense? And then you'll need to write the evidence for each one. Now, I'm going to show you guys this on the board, so if you want to pause it here, you can definitely do that. I'm gonna put it a little bit closer. So if you look, Sarah hit the ball 4 meters into the air and reported a pain level of 2 out of 5. Then you'll move to Nicole hit the ball 8 meters in the air and reported a pain level of 3.5 out of 5. And again, Mandy hit the ball and 10 meters in the air and reported a pain level of 4.5 out of 5. So again, if you're like, hey, I need to pause that screen right there, I'm like, pause it right now. That's the best place, okay? Pause it right now if you need to get those in, okay? And then I'm gonna have to put these videos together because I don't want it to go too long. This is about as far as we got in class today. What I had students do was just do this last part. Once we've got all of those in there. And remember, I took all of that data just from this. So 2 out of 5, and then the 4 meters. Here's the 8 meters, and there's a 3.5 out of 5, and then again, the 10 meters right there, and then a 4. So I had students, and I just went over this. This is it. You should write an intro sentence, okay? Intro, and inside your intro should be your question and plus your claim. The next thing you should be writing, okay, should be a reasoning sentence. And that should be evidence, right? So your evidence 1, which our first piece of evidence is about Sarah. So it should have to do with Sarah and what happened with her, right? So reasoning 2. Our second piece of evidence, right, which should have to do with Nicole, right? And we'll write about her and what happened, all right? And then reasoning sentence number 3, okay? Again, that's evidence 3. And that has to do with Mandy and what happened with her, okay? And then the last one should be your conclusion, right? And that is restating, right? Restate your claim. All right, now, I do want to point this out. Make sure that you put these two things together, the distance traveled and force applied. Right? So you've got to put those ideas together. My recommendation is that after your claim that you would put these ideas together here. That basically as force goes up, we'll put force goes up, right? Also, distance traveled, right? So distance traveled by the ball also goes up. So put those two things together. Then you can connect Newton's third law, which says, hey, I know the more force applied to the ball means the more force is being applied back to the hand. Okay, so you got to kind of put these ideas together. All right, y'all, that's all we're going to do for today. I know this lesson was long. It was 20 minutes, but it is what it is, fam. It is what it is. All right, peace.